Hello, and welcome back to Bedtime Fables. The day is over now and the world is growing quiet. It's time to find your most comfortable, coziest spot and let your body and mind begin to unwind. Tonight, our story is a very special one. It is a story about a very long and very gentle journey. It is a tale of a single tiny raindrop and its great adventure to find its way back home. So let your breathing become as soft and as steady as a gentle rain as our story begins. High, high above the world, so high that the green fields looked like a soft patchwork quilt, there floated a great big puffy white cloud. This cloud was like a giant floating island in the endless blue sea of the sky, and it was home to millions and millions of tiny shimmering water droplets. And amongst them all was one very small, very new droplet named Dew. Dew was a perfectly round, perfectly clear little drop, and he loved his home. It was a soft, quiet and gentle place, a world made of white fluff and sleepy silence. He would spend his days floating gently within the cloud's cozy walls, watching as his brothers and sisters, the other little droplets, danced and swirled around him in the misty air. He felt safe and warm, a tiny part of something great and wonderful. But sometimes, as he floated, he would feel a strange, gentle pull from deep within, a quiet humming feeling that he didn't quite understand. It was a feeling of longing, a whisper of a memory of another place, a place he had never seen but somehow knew in his very core. It was the feeling of home, a home that wasn't here, high up in the quiet sky. Juliet felt a change in his cloudy home. The whole great white island in the sky seemed to take a long, slow, deep breath, pulling all the little droplets in a little closer. Then, with a gentle, silent sigh, it began to let go. It was time. The cloud had grown heavy with all its precious water, and it was time to give its gift back to the thirsty earth below. One by one, then 100 by 100, the droplets began to fall. Juliet felt a moment of fear as the soft, misty floor beneath him disappeared, but then he felt a wonderful sense of freedom. He was no longer floating, he was falling, tumbling gently through the vast open air. The wind rushed past him with a soft whoosh, a sound he had only ever heard from inside the cloud. He was on his way. His great journey home had truly begun, and he was surrounded by all of his brothers and sisters as they made the great brave leap together. The world rushed up to meet him. What had looked like a soft green blanket from high above was now a vast and wonderful world of individual trees. He could see the tops of the tallest pines, their needles like a million tiny green fingers reaching up to the sky. He could see the wide, welcoming leaves of the great oak trees, each one a perfect landing spot. The sunlight, shining through the curtain of falling rain, created a dazzling show of light. Tiny, brilliant rainbows danced all around him, and dew tumbled through them, his own clear, round body acting like a tiny prism, full of every color imaginable. He had never felt so alive. He was no longer just a droplet in a cloud. He was a tiny, falling jewel, a part of a beautiful, shimmering gift to the world below. He was a piece of magic. His fall ended not with a crash, but with a soft, gentle pat. He had landed. He wiggled and jiggled for a moment, and then settled, resting on the smooth, waxy surface of a giant green leaf. The world, which had been rushing past him, was now perfectly still. He could feel the gentle strength of the leaf beneath him. He looked closely and saw it was covered in tiny, intricate pathways, the leaf's veins, which looked to him like a map of a strange new country. He was not alone here. Other raindrops, his brothers and sisters from the cloud, were resting all around him, each one a perfect shimmering sphere, reflecting the green of the leaf and the blue of the sky. They had all arrived safely, their long fall from the sky now over. The first part of their journey was complete. As Dew rested, he noticed he had a visitor. A tiny black ant was marching purposefully up the stem of the leaf. When it saw the giant, shimmering droplet in its path, it stopped. The ant tilted its head, its two long antennae twitching with curiosity. It had never seen a raindrop so close before. "Hello," the ant seemed to say, with a little wave of one antenna. "Welcome to our leaf. Are you on a long journey?" Dew couldn't speak in the ant's language, but he wiggled slightly, a small, shimmering pulse that meant, "Yes, I am. I am on my way home to the sea." The ant seemed to understand, and it gave another respectful twitch before continuing on its own very important, busy journey. Soon, Julie felt a familiar pull. It was the pull of the earth, the same gentle tug he had felt in the cloud, but stronger now. He began to move. He slid slowly at first, then a little faster, following the central vein of the leaf, as if it were a perfectly designed slide made just for him. Along the way, he met another droplet, and they joined together with a soft plink. Then they met another, and another. He was no longer just dew, he was becoming a part of something big. Their slide took them all the way to the very tip of the leaf. There they gathered, a single, large, heavy drop of water, clinging to the tiny point. Dew was at the very front, and he could see the world stretched out below him once more. Not the whole world, as he had seen from the cloud, but a new, closer world of dark, rich soil, tiny green mosses and fallen leaves. He felt that familiar feeling again. A little bit of fear and a lot of excitement. The next step of his journey was just one tiny drop away. He held on, waiting for the perfect moment to let go once more. The drop grew heavier and heavier until it could hold on no longer. With a final, shimmering stretch, it let go. This fall was much shorter and much faster than the first. The world was a blur of green and brown for just a moment, and then, plop, he landed on a patch of soft, dark, welcoming earth. But he did not rest there for long. The thirsty ground drank him in immediately. He felt himself being pulled down past the tiny blades of moss and the sleeping seeds into the cool, quiet darkness of the soil. The light of the world above disappeared, and he was surrounded by the earthy, ancient smell of the deep forest. He was no longer on a leaf, but inside the very heart of the land itself. This was a part of the journey he had never imagined, a secret, dark, and quiet part of the world. He landed on a patch of soft, dark, welcoming earth. But he did not rest there for long. The thirsty ground, which had been waiting for the gift of rain, drank him in immediately. He felt himself being pulled down past the tiny blades of moss and the sleeping seeds of future flowers into the cool, quiet darkness of the soil. The light of the world above disappeared, and he was surrounded by the earthy, ancient smell of the deep forest. This was a part of the journey he had never imagined, a secret, dark, and quiet part of the world, and he felt a little nervous, but also safe, as if the earth itself was giving him a gentle hug. Down in the cool, quiet darkness of the soil, Juliet found himself in a completely new world. This was the secret, hidden part of the forest, a place of deep silence and ancient roots. He was no longer falling, but trickling, moving slowly through tiny, dark passageways in the earth. He flowed past the sleeping seeds of future flowers and around the strong, woody roots of the great trees that reached down like giant, thirsty fingers. Here and there, a patch of pale, glowing fungus on a root would light his way, casting a soft, ghostly light on the earthy tunnels. It was not a scary darkness, but a peaceful, sleepy darkness, full of the slow, steady heartbeat of the growing things all around him. He felt like he was traveling through the very veins of the earth. As he trickled along, his tiny stream began to meet others. From his left, another little trickle of water, full of his brothers and sisters from the cloud, joined his path, then another from the right. They were all being pulled together by that same gentle humming feeling, that ancient call from the deep earth. He was no longer just a single drop or a small family of drops, but was becoming a part of a slow, determined underground river. With every new trickle that joined them, their collective purpose felt stronger. They were all on the same great journey, and they were all traveling together, a secret river flowing through the heart of the world. Their path led them directly over the thirsty root of a giant maple tree. The root, like a tiny wooden straw, drank deeply from their little stream. Dew felt a small part of himself being drawn into the tree, and for a moment he felt the ancient, sleepy life of the great maple. He felt the slow, steady pull of water being lifted high, high up, past the strong trunk, along the sturdy branches, all the way to the highest leaf. He understood then that his journey wasn't just for him. His journey gave life to the forest. He was helping the great trees drink so they could grow strong and reach for the sky. It was a wonderful, important feeling. The gentle pull of the earth continued to guide them, and soon Dua saw something new ahead. A soft green light. The tunnel opened up, and with a happy little gurgle, their secret underground river flowed out into the day. They had emerged into a hidden hollow, a tiny secret spring surrounded by the softest, greenest moss Dua had ever seen. The sun was shining, and the air was fresh and clean. He had traveled all the way through the dark earth and had come out again into the light. The journey was changing, and he felt a new sense of excitement for what was to come. From the quiet, still pool of the spring, the water began to move downhill. It started as a trickle, then became a stream, and then a happy, chattering little brook. Dew was no longer seeping slowly through the earth. He was tumbling and dancing in the bright, clear water. He bounced over smooth grey pebbles and swirled around the roots of graceful ferns. He could hear the brook's happy, bubbling song as it made its way through the forest, a song of movement and joy. This part of the journey was full of life and energy, and Dew felt as if he were dancing for the very first time. A beautiful red maple leaf, a memory from the autumn that had just passed, drifted down and landed gently on the surface of the brook. As the water tumbled over a small rock, Dew was splashed up and out of the stream, landing right in the center of the floating leaf. Suddenly, he was no longer tumbling, but sailing. He was on a little red boat, floating serenely on the surface of the water. He drifted along, watching the green banks of the brook slide by and the blue sky reflect on the water's surface. It was a moment of perfect peace in the middle of his great adventure. As his leaf boat drifted, Dew noticed he was being watched from below. A small, speckled fish with fins like tiny, translucent fans was swimming right underneath him. The fish looked up with its big, dark, curious eye, wondering what this strange, clear bubble was, sailing on a red leaf. Dew looked down, and for a moment, the two worlds met. The world of the air and the world of the water, a little droplet and a little fish, sharing a moment of quiet curiosity before the current carried Dew's boat onward. The little brook's happy song began to change. It grew deeper and quieter. Dew looked ahead and saw that his little stream was coming to an end. It was flowing into a great, wide and powerful river. His leaf boat spun in a gentle whirlpool as the brook's water merged with the river's slow, steady current. The journey had changed again. The happy, dancing brook was now a part of something much bigger, much older, and much more powerful. He could feel the deep, strong pull of the river, and he knew it was pulling him ever closer to his final home. Life on the great river was very different. It did not babble or tumble. It moved with a slow, deep, and silent power. Dew was no longer an individual drop, but a part of the river itself, one tiny droplet among billions, all moving together on the same great watery road. He felt the slow, steady rhythm of the current, a heartbeat as slow and as powerful as a sleeping giant. He relaxed completely, letting the great river carry him, feeling completely safe and at peace, knowing he was exactly where he was supposed to be. As Dew drifted along on the river's slow current, he was treated to a beautiful show. A pair of dragonflies, with wings like stained glass and bodies that shimmered with the colors of emeralds and sapphires, were dancing in the warm afternoon air. They would dart and hover, their wings a silent, blurry hum, sometimes dipping so low that the very tips of their tails would touch the water, sending out tiny, perfect concentric rings that would ripple all the way to Dew. He watched their silent ballet, a beautiful, fleeting performance just for him and the river, and he felt a deep sense of joy for the simple, wonderful beauty of the world. The river carried him towards an old stone bridge. It was very old, made of big grey stones that had been worn smooth by 1,000 years of wind and rain. Soft green ivy grew in the cracks between the stones, and a family of sleepy pigeons was cooing softly from a high ledge. As he flowed into the cool, dark shade beneath the arch, he felt the deep, ancient history of the bridge. It had stood here, watching the river flow, for longer than anyone could remember. It was a silent, steadfast guardian, just like the mountain from another story, and Dew felt a sense of respect and peace as he passed beneath it. A little further on, he was gently rocked by a passing family. A mother duck, proud and graceful, was leading her little brood of fluffy yellow ducklings to the other side of the river. They swam in a perfect, neat line behind her, their tiny webbed feet paddling furiously beneath the water. They left a long, beautiful V-shaped wake behind them, a gentle ripple that lifted Dew up and down like being rocked in a giant watery cradle. He watched them go, a perfect little parade of happy, busy life on the calm, sleepy river. As he drifted, a new smell touched the air. It was a fresh, clean, and slightly salty smell. It was a smell that stirred the oldest memories within him, the memory of the place he had come from and the place he was returning to. It was the smell of the great, wide, open sea. He wasn't there yet, but he could feel it. He could smell it. He knew, with a deep, happy certainty, that he was getting very, very close to the end of his journey. The humming inside him was no longer a faint whisper. It was a loud, joyful song. He was almost home. And then he was there. The riverbanks widened and fell away, and the slow, steady current of the river dissolved into something much, much bigger. He had reached the place where the river meets the sea. He felt the gentle push and pull of the tide, the great slow breath of the ocean itself. He was no longer in a river. He was in the sea. He had made it. His long, great journey was finally over. He felt a wonderful, peaceful feeling as he merged with the great water. He was no longer Dew, the single, tiny droplet. He was now a part of the whole magnificent ocean. All of his brothers and sisters from the cloud, and from 1,000 other clouds, were here with him. They had all finished their journeys, and now they were all home together. The quiet, humming feeling inside him had stopped. It had been replaced by a deep, profound sense of peace and belonging. He felt himself sink a little deeper, drifting down into the quiet world beneath the waves. He saw the soft, sandy floor, shaped into gentle hills and valleys by the slow, sleepy currents. He saw beautiful seashells, empty homes that now held only the sound of the ocean's whisper. It was a world of slow, gentle movement and profound, ancient silence. As he drifted, he passed one of the great, gentle giants of the deep. A huge, magnificent whale was sleeping, hanging silently in the water, like a great, peaceful mountain. Her eye was closed, and her giant tail was perfectly still. Even the biggest and most powerful creatures of the sea needed their rest, and the ocean held her safely in its deep, quiet embrace as she dreamed her great whale dreams. Juliet was home. His journey was complete. He had fallen from the sky, fed a thirsty root, sailed on a leaf boat, and traveled down a great river to find his way back to the sea where he belonged. He was now a part of the ocean's great, slow, sleepy rhythm, a tiny drop in a world of endless, peaceful water, ready to rest. And now, just as Dew has finished his long journey and found his peaceful home, it is time for you to finish your own day's journey and find your peaceful rest. It is time to let the busy world float away and to sink into the deep, calm, and wonderful ocean of your dreams. As Dew drifted on the river's steady current, he became a silent observer of a whole new world. The riverbanks were alive with activity. He saw a family of playful otters, their fur slick and shiny, chasing each other down a muddy slide and splashing into the water with joyful chirps. Further on, a tall, elegant heron stood as still as a statue on its long, thin legs, its sharp eyes watching the water for the flash of a silver fish. It was a world of joyful play and quiet patience, all happening at once, and the great river carried all their stories along with him. The river began to slow, its powerful current quieting to an almost complete stop. Ahead, stretching from one bank to the other, was a great wall of sticks and mud. It was a beaver's dam, a masterpiece of engineering built by the busiest builders in the forest. Behind the dam, the water had formed a wide, calm pond, a safe and peaceful home for many creatures. Dew rested in the still water, admiring the incredible work of the beavers, who used their strength not to stop the river, but to create a new and wonderful place for others to live. He drifted closer and closer to the great dam, until he reached the very top. There, the water spilled over the edge in a wide, gentle waterfall, its sound a soft and steady roar. For a moment, Julia was airborne again, not falling from a great height, but tumbling in a happy, bubbly cascade of water and light. He splashed into the river below, feeling refreshed and energized by the little plunge, ready for the next part of his adventure. As he continued his journey, The sun began to paint its goodnight masterpiece across the sky. The clouds were brushed with fiery orange and the softest pink, and the river, like a perfect mirror, reflected it all. Dew felt as if he were no longer drifting on water, but floating through a beautiful liquid sunset. The world was so quiet, so peaceful, and so full of breathtaking color. He knew the day was ending, and he felt a growing anticipation. The smell of the sea was getting stronger, and then he was there. The riverbanks widened and fell away, and the slow, steady current of the river dissolved into something much, much bigger. He had reached the place where the river meets the sea. He felt the gentle push and pull of the tide, the great, slow breath of the ocean itself. He was no longer in a river. He was in the sea. He had made it. His long, great journey was finally over. He had followed the whispers of the earth, and they had led him home. He felt a wonderful, peaceful feeling as he merged with the great water. He was no longer dew, the single, tiny droplet. He was now a part of the whole, magnificent ocean. All of his brothers and sisters from the cloud and from 1,000 other clouds were here with him. They had all finished their journeys, and now they were all home together. The quiet, humming feeling inside him had stopped. It had been replaced by a deep, profound sense of peace and belonging, like a long-lost puzzle piece, finally clicking into place. He felt himself sink a little deeper, drifting down into the quiet world beneath the waves. He saw the soft, sandy floor, shaped into gentle hills and valleys by the slow, sleepy currents. He saw beautiful seashells, empty homes that now held only the sound of the ocean's whisper. It was a world of slow, gentle movement and profound, ancient silence, a world at rest. As he drifted, he passed one of the great, gentle giants of the deep. A huge, magnificent whale was sleeping, hanging silently in the water like a great, peaceful mountain. Her eye was closed, and her giant tail was perfectly still. Even the biggest and most powerful creatures of the sea needed their rest, and the ocean held her safely in its deep, quiet embrace as she dreamed her great whale dreams of cosmic songs and distant starry seas. The current carried him to a forest made not of trees, but of tall, swaying kelp. Its long green leaves danced in a slow, silent ballet, their movements perfectly in time with the deep, sleepy rhythm of the ocean. Tiny, glowing creatures, the little stars of the deep sea, drifted between the kelp, their soft lights pulsing in the peaceful, watery darkness. Juliet was home. His journey was complete. He had fallen from the sky, fed a thirsty root, sailed on a leaf boat, and traveled down a great river to find his way back to the sea where he belonged. He was now a part of the ocean's great, slow, sleepy rhythm, a tiny drop in a world of endless, peaceful water, ready to rest until the sun called him back to the sky to begin the wonderful journey all over again. And now, just as Dew has finished his long journey and found his peaceful home, it is time for you to finish your own day's journey and find your peaceful rest. The busy world can float away, and you can sink into the deep, calm, and wonderful ocean of your dreams. Imagine your cozy bed is a gentle, peaceful sea, holding you, supporting you completely. You don't need to hold on to anything at all. You can just let your body relax and be carried by the slow, sleepy waves. It is a wonderful, heavy, and comfortable feeling as your muscles unwind and your mind grows quiet. Listen to the rhythm of your own breathing, slow and steady and deep. Let it be like the gentle tide of the great, sleeping ocean. A long, soft breath in, filling you with peace, and a long, quiet breath out, letting go of the day. This peaceful rhythm is the oldest song in the world, and it is rocking you gently, gently to sleep. Listen to the quiet growing all around you. The busy sounds of the day have all gone home, just like dew. Now, there is only a deep, comfortable silence. It is a safe silence, a cozy silence, a sleepy, sleepy silence that fills your room and helps your mind grow still and peaceful, like the deep, calm sea. If you have any busy thoughts left from the day, just imagine they are tiny little droplets, like dew, and one by one, you can watch them gently float away and merge with a great, peaceful ocean of quiet until they have all disappeared. Your mind is now as calm and as clear as still, moonlit water. You are so safe and sound, tucked into your bed. You are in your very own special cozy seashell, where the noisy world can't reach you. You are completely protected, completely comfortable, and ready for the most wonderful, peaceful dreams. And now, it is time for you to find your own peaceful rest, just like the creatures in the deep, quiet sea. The little seahorses have stopped their daytime dancing. They are holding tight to the soft seaweed, letting the gentle ocean currents rock them like a cradle. They are safe and sound, dreaming their tiny, bubbly dreams. Your own bed is just as safe, and your blankets are just as cozy. You can let go of the day, knowing that the whole world is settling down with you, getting ready for a long and peaceful night of sleep. Think of the quietest place you can imagine, deeper than any sound can travel, where the water is always still and calm. This is the deep, sleepy heart of the ocean. It is a place of profound peace, where the only lights are the gentle, glowing lights of the creatures that live there. Let your mind become as quiet and as peaceful as that deep, dark place. There are no worries here. There are no busy thoughts. There is only a deep, comfortable stillness, a perfect silence for you to rest in. Feel your breathing, slow and steady. A long, gentle breath in and a long, soft breath out. It is the most peaceful rhythm in the world, the rhythm of sleep itself. It is like the slow, steady pull of the moon on the great ocean tide, a rhythm so old and so powerful it can lull the entire world to sleep. Let that gentle rhythm carry you away now, floating on each breath, deeper and deeper, into a wonderful, restful slumber. You are so very sleepy now, so ready for your own wonderful journey. The land of dreams is waiting for you, a place as vast and as magical as the great wide sea. It is a place of beautiful stories and happy adventures where anything is possible. You are safe, you are warm, and you are ready to float away. The entire ocean and the whole sleepy world wishes you a very good night. Thank you for traveling with us at Bedtime Fables. There is always a new magical journey waiting for us. If you would like to join, you can ask your grown-up to tap the subscribe button so we can all meet again for our next sleepy adventure. Until then, may your dreams be as deep and as peaceful as the ocean. Good night.